We don't know why that didn't happen, or team was not given a good answer as to why that didn't happen, but it didn't happen.
Hello there, you Awakening Wonders. I'm, of course, at the RNC, encountering new people, having extraordinary conversations, living in a world that's somewhat carnival, somewhat trade fair, in an extraordinary moment in American history, still in the wake and reverberation of the Donald Trump assassination attempt, while America continues to reassess and understand itself, while in some quarters the incendiary rhetoric continues, the doubt, the coruscation, the desire to condemn and divide. I've got to tell you that for me, as a person with my background, my history, I'm not even from America, of course, I've never been to a political convention of any description before, oh God, once, years ago, but this is a really unusual experience for me. And I'm aware that as a person with a connection to liberal Hollywood, a lot of people are like, you're not allowed to be there. But I've got to tell you, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's actually extremely sweet. I really, really like her. Eric Trump, adorable. I mean, what's really interesting is when you've dealt with a lot of invective and condemnatory language when it comes to these people, and you meet them and everyone's ultimately seems to be talking about freedom, you increasingly have to question, what is this continual hysteria and demonization actually about? And it's irrelevant actually, because as a person that's not from America, I could never vote in this country. That's never happened before, right? We're not suggesting that people from outside of America are participating in elections. So my opinion is actually ultimately, of course, completely irrelevant. But this sort of piety and mental haughtiness that appears to come from the liberal establishment, it seems to me beyond hypocritical, and ultimately, is it all that they've got left? Because when it becomes the party of the military-industrial complex, of Big Pharma, from what pulpit are you condemning people? And are there any media groups that epitomise this phenomenon more neatly and appositely than those bastions of the morning drink and morning sermonising over on Morning Joe, who were so upset by the reaction to Donald Trump's assassination attempt that they actually just stopped being on the television for a while. I've not seen this before, and I'm really interested to see how the host Micah, who of course I've had interactions with previously, and old Morning Joe himself have responded to this chastisement, or at least this kind of temporary interruption of their moral certainty. Let's have a look.
Before we start this hour, Willie, I just wanted to briefly talk to our friends and viewers that watch us every day, and talk about what happened yesterday. We were told in no uncertain terms on Sunday evening that there was going to be one news feed.
Nothing's actually uncertain on MSNBC. There's no room for prevarication, equivocation, or even conversation or doubt, or open-hearted curiosity or inquiry. Everything is certain. Absolute bombast, absolute hyperbole continually. These people are bad, these people are good. There will be fascism unless you vote for Joe Biden. He doesn't seem to be able to talk properly. Shut up and vote for the one candidate that will not lead to fascism. Do you not hear that that's a contradiction in terms? We don't hear anything. We're too busy talking.
Across all NBC News channels yesterday, the Today Show would be Lester Holt.
Well, that Micah Hold's beverages, to me, increasingly sort of seems like, oh, God, this isn't working anymore. I remember it when I encountered her, that there was some unusual body language conveyed, but now it just seems sort of rather desperate. This is over, isn't it?
Other people that you worked with on Sunday, and that was going to be one news feed across all NBC News channels, that we were going to stay as a network in breaking news mode throughout all day yesterday. That did not happen. We don't know why that didn't happen, or team was not given a good answer as to why that didn't happen, but it didn't happen. We were also told it was going to happen throughout the day. And I guess after there was such a strong blowback about yesterday morning, I guess they changed their plans.
The people demanded we come back. They can't do a single morning without our insights. What's today's insight? That Joe Biden's as sharp as a tack? That if you don't vote for anyone other than Joe Biden, there will be tyranny? What is it today that we can't live without? It's so sort of obscure and sort of unconsciously grand, isn't it? One thing I've learned from my time at the Republican National Convention is that, Everyone's just human beings. People are just trying to get along. I don't believe that institutions of current representative democracy or constitutional republic, you choose your term. I don't think they're the answer. I think there has to be such radical decentralization that the country will resemble, more than anything, sets of independent principalities. Well, is that federalism? You tell me in the comments in the chat. And I'm actually having these conversations with Republicans in real time. This is, I suppose, for me, a period in my life, and I think hopefully in all of our lives, where we should be recognizing the need for conversation and open-heartedness and good faith. We're really in an unusual moment. One side believes that we're on the edge of an apocalypse because of environmental reasons, and perhaps that's right. The other people believe we're on the edge of an apocalypse because of sort of cultural reasons and escalating war. But all sides believe that we have to move towards one another in faith, and all of us be approaching one another with as little judgment as possible, because who are we to be certain anymore? I've been stripped of my certainty. All I have is questions, and I'm trying to move towards love. That's it. That's my position now. What's Joe's position? 6 months ago, Joe Biden is cleverer than I've ever known him. He's always been cleverer. Well, he also used to be a bit of a bastard. I mean, if you ever look at the old footage of him, he's always said things like, we need to grind these people into the dust. Drug addicts belong in prison. He's got some pretty out there views. It's not like when he was young. It wasn't like he was like... Mr. Rogers, wasn't he? Like, hello, everybody. Like, he was a vicious bastard, and now he's incompetent. What was the bit when Joe Scarborough saw him and he was actually really nice? When was it? I don't know, last Wednesday, 4:30. You should have filmed it.
And so those plans changed as well. So it didn't. We've talked about it off the air.
There's also the other bloke that's being forced to listen to this. Look, actually, I don't even work here. Can I go home now? I don't like this show.
We'll talk about it on the air because we talk about everything on the air. We were very surprised. We were very disappointed. And if we had known that there wasn't going to be the one news feed from NBC News across all NBC News channels, Willie, we obviously would have been in yesterday morning.
Yeah, I was here up early on Sunday morning.
Joe, I can see you needed to say that. It's almost a therapeutic process. It's pretty clear that what's happening now is that after the debate and the exposure that people cannot seriously have believed that Joe Biden was cogent and competent, and now this assassination attempt that appears to have revealed that the hysterical demonization and condemnation of Donald Trump has likely led to violence, along with the Secret Service ineptitude, well, it seems like we're all having to have a little moment of introspection and recognizing that the work we do on legacy media is far from relevant. In fact, it's becoming redundant. So I can see your need to purge yourself in this way. That's not it. Micah, stop gripping that cup. We can't continue to bring you this beautiful content without the support of our partners. Hey, this is exciting. We've got a great partner today. It's Rumble. But beyond Rumble, is Rumble's latest venture. Let me ask you first, are you a Sleepy Joe type character with zero cognitive performance, struggling to muster focus and brain power for basic things like running the United States of America? You've got to stop drinking woke liberal coffee that hates you and your way of life and start your day by drinking Rumble's very own 1775 coffee. This is going to be the best tasting coffee you've ever had. Seriously good, ethically sourced from a family farm in the high altitude mountains of Bolivia. Not in the Bolivian lowlands run not by a family but by a single man still living with a pet. No! Instead of waking up and drinking your big corporation-owned woke ideology coffee that's probably making you sick from the pesticides it's sprayed with, try Rumble's 1775 revolutionary coffee. Support freedom of speech. Build a parallel economy that actually values you and loves you. My favourite? It's dark, of course. I've always found the lure of the dark irresistible. I'm sorry, how can I stay mad at you? But you're just going to have to wait over there for a little while. Level up your morning routine with a 1775 coffee. Sleep all night knowing your hard-earned dollary dues are going towards supporting freedom-loving creators like me on Rumble. Visit 1775coffee.com now. Pick up your first bag. Use the code BRAND to save 10% on your first order. Oh, come on. Why choose, Okay, back to the content.
With NBC's coverage, Savannah and I led the coverage on Sunday in the immediate aftermath, talking to eyewitnesses.
We led the coverage. We boldly led the coverage. We did everything. We spoke to witnesses. I bought myself a pad and pen. You're only being on the television. It's not that important. All you are is a table that people put commercials, mostly for Pfizer on. That's it.
Talking to eyewitnesses, talking to officials about what happened.
Micah just casually sort of etching out a resignation that I can no longer, in good faith, continue to be on Morning Joe. What time is it? Is it afternoon yet, Joe?
Obviously suited up and ready to go for yesterday morning on a big morning, and we're told that something else was going to be broadcast. So we are here today, going through a lot, catching up a little bit, but we want to be here for our audience, and we know you trust us. And
What? No, sorry. I don't trust you. I've never trusted you. How can we possibly trust you after recent events? Aren't we witnessing the implosion of trust? Isn't this a process that's been going on for the last 5 or 10 years that is now reaching its terrible and explosive apex? Isn't it becoming clear that the hysteria, the demonization, even if you can sort of, like, the best you can say is both political parties seem to be, to a degree, controlled by corporate and commercial interests that render their pledges to represent the ordinary people of America somewhat redundant, and ultimately we're competing between two sort of ideologies that are ultimately so similar to one another that what we need is radical change. And if we continue to get caught in this tiny over-teen window of senseless squabbling, we'll never awaken together. What we can't say is like, I know you guys trust us, you love us, you look at Morning Joe, and when it's not on for a morning, you think, what the hell's happening? You know, forget Donald Trump's nearly been killed. Who cares? He deserved that. We're not interested in that crap. Where the hell is Joe?
we have ultimate respect for you guys, so we are here today. I wish we'd been here yesterday.
They're talking about this with more reverence and sort of tragedy than the sort of death of that fireman who died shielding his family. We're so sorry that we weren't able to produce another morning of banal and self-regarding claptrap for you to consume. Tomorrow we will be back, and whatever's happened between now and then, we'll lie about it and turn it into something that makes liberal people that are still drinking down the vile medicine of consumerism, commerce, and virtue signaling feel better. But you better believe we'll be back tomorrow, same time. We're going to have to cancel this show. No one's buying our advertising anymore. Shut up! Joe's on the very edge of a nervous breakdown, and I don't even mean Joe Biden anymore.
Yeah, we all wish we would have been here yesterday. We still would like to figure out exactly why there wasn't that one news feed.
And I think the reason why is this show began and continues 17 years later on being the place where you can go to have the hard conversations in a civil way.
They're so grandiose and so self-regarding. It's not that important. Do you know what media should be? This has happened. What do you think about it? I don't understand it. You're probably on both sides or any sides of a conversation or an argument, there will be mixed motives and biases and stuff, and God knows we're capable ourselves of being deluded or distracted or caught up in the wrong thing. It's not meant to be. I'm trying to sort of think, I must have done it myself at some points, I suppose, like even in our own sort of social media and independent way, like, hello. In spite of offence, I'm here to tell you. Only when stuff is actually happening to me personally have I ever felt that tone where it's like, whoa, I'm in the middle of a deluge. I don't sort of live like, what I'm doing is extremely important. It's brilliant. I don't know how I do it. You poor people, you must be so desperate. I'm surprised you didn't throw yourselves on us to form a shield to prevent them from not broadcasting us. It's just, if that had been just 1 centimeter to the left, then we would have been on air. I don't know what happened to the feed.
And so it seemed like now more than ever is a time that we would like to be on. And I think our viewers agree with that.
Do you know what? I've watched these people bring Anthony Fauci on and say stuff like, Anthony Fauci, would you like to come on and tell us a bunch of stuff now? Yeah, it's the fog of war. Like, they just gave him the opportunity to just come on and say, why didn't you tell us the truth in the pandemic? Like, there's no integrity at all in these spaces. Now, I know I've been significantly attacked simply for attending the RNC and having conversations with a vast array of people that attend that event. But I've also met, people from the Atlanta Voice and journalists there, and obviously ordinary, regular legacy media journalists who are there to sort of condemn the events. But for me, this is fascinating. The whole thing is extraordinary and fascinating. We're at a pivotal moment, and what seems incredibly likely is that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are going to win the election in 2024, in spite of everything, unless there are, as like Alex Jones and other shamanic outliers there in the digital space are correct, and that there are yet more extraordinary events. And I really pray that there are not, because they cost lives and they're insane and demonic and awful. But one of the things that we're already at the threshold of is the integrity reliability and even value of legacy media. I think we're watching its collapse. I think we've been experiencing that since the advent of independent media, even with things like, I don't know, Young Turks or whatever. It's, it's not solely an alt-right thing, or it has a spectrum and an incredible variety of views. And I imagine if independent media is allowed to flourish without censorship and without the kind of opposition that's sort of plainly on the rise, then you'll have representation for every imaginable community. And that, I think, is what we're experiencing. The mental breakdown of people that are recognising it's over. It's actually over for them. And it's sort of a personal reaction. And what they're trying to package it as is sort of as if they're like, the St. John's Ambulance or the Salvation Army, unable to sort of get soup out to homeless people. We're so sorry. We know how cold you are out there. Were you all right? Do you want a tinfoil blanket, an aluminum foil blanket? No, you're all right. Just watch something else. It's boring what you're doing anyway. It's extraordinary to watch that implosion.
So we continue. We are 5 minutes past the top of the hour.
No, and let me just say...
He's still not finished, Joe. It's like, well, she's ready to move on. I'm like, oh, God, can we just put something else? Like, we got a commercial. We got to sell something for Pfizer. Impotence pills or some medicines that barely work or make you actually worse. Joe, please. No, we will be here tomorrow, no matter what. If I have to bang on a tin can and scream my views in the street like every other lunatic, I'll do it.
Next time we're told there's going to be a news feed replacing us, we will be in our chairs.
We'll be sitting here.
Yeah, and the news feed will be us, or they can get somebody
We'll still
else.
be sitting here.
That is like, they're really antagonised by it. That's almost like a protest at work, isn't it? Like, well, we'll be here. We promise you, next time the news feed goes, we'll be sat here, willing to propagandize, support Fauci, pretend that Joe Biden is cogent, whatever is required of us by the establishment. You better believe we'll do it, even if no one's watching. I don't think anyone is watching. Well, there you are then. We've proved it just by doing it. What we're actually witnessing is the end of the legacy media. But that's just what I think. Why don't you tell me what you think in the comments and the chat? Remember, we're at the RNC this week, meeting a pantheon of extraordinary individuals and having amazing conversations. Join us for the Rumble stream when you can. Stay free. Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.